Hey guys, welcome to episode number 511. Today is Monday, so it's Update Monday. And today, I'm back down in the fish room making videos. I know it seems like it's been forever, but life has been crazy. And things are just getting to the point now where I can sit down and focus on fish room stuff once again, which I'm sure you guys will all enjoy. So, fish room, central sump system. This thing has been set up for about 3 years now, and I haven't really had too many complaints. This thing has worked flawlessly. I have not spilled a drop of water on the floor in 3 years that this sump system has been running, so I would call it a success. However, there's always room for improvement, and that's what I want to focus on today. For those of you who are not familiar with the central sump system, all of my 40-gallon breeders are drilled with a bulkhead and an overflow, and that overflow line is right here, and all of those tanks overflow into this first barrel, 55-gallon barrel. I've got 3 barrels here. This first one is my mechanical barrel. The next one is my biological barrel. And then the third one is my wastewater overflow barrel. And the one that I want to focus on today and make better is my mechanical filtration barrel, because this has been causing me some problems. Real quick though, what I've got right now, and which has been working fairly well, is just basically a layer of filter foam on top of a couple layers of Matala filter media, and that's worked fairly well to trap some of the large particles. However, it's obviously not capturing everything. It's not like I have filter socks. It's not like, you know, I have a traditional sump system where I'm able to capture all of the fine particles. What ends up happening is some of those particles get through. They go over the overflow in this barrel into this barrel, and by the time they get into here, you can see how it might cause some problems, because there is so much agitation in this barrel by design, but there's so much agitation in this barrel that all of the fines and the particulates just get kicked up, churned up, picked up by the pump, which is in the bottom here, and then it shoots up this return line here back into my aquariums. So what ends up happening is there's stuff that floats around in the water, and it drives me nuts, and it's constant, and it's very difficult to get rid of it, but it's just the fine particles that are just always there, and it just makes the whole system a little hazy. I'm sure it doesn't help with the algae problems, because everything just spreads and sticks to everything. So I need to fix this. I knew it was an issue when I set it up, but I did the best that I could at the time. And again, it's been working, but it's not working as well as it could. I have no complaints whatsoever with my biologic barrel. The K1 Micro Media is doing amazing. This stuff lasts forever. You can see it's got sort of a yellow tint to it. That's because it's seeded with my beneficial bacteria. And if I was designing a large central sump system, this would be my number one choice for biologic filter media. Hands down, every single time. So super happy with this barrel. Super happy with this barrel. This float activated sump works like a charm. It's never failed me yet. At some point I might need to swap it out if it gets a little too rusty or gummed up or whatever, or maybe I'll take it apart and refurbish it. But either way, this thing has pumped thousands and thousands of gallons, and it's never once given any signs of slowing down or stopping. Every once in a while I do clean it out to make sure that there isn't gunk building up on the bottom, but otherwise this thing works like a pro. So what are we going to do to this barrel? Well, there's a few problems with this barrel, and I'll start by saying I don't want to completely disassemble this filtration system. This is sort of the lifeblood of my entire tank rack, and I don't want to mess with it too much because everything's connected. And if I was to have to shut everything down to make any major changes, it would negatively impact my entire aquarium rack. So what I want to do is do some modifications to this that aren't so drastic that it would require me to shut everything off, drain everything down, scrub everything out, and either glue new parts in or take parts out or whatever. So here's what I want to do. I want to remove everything from this barrel, but leave the water in it, leave the water flowing in it, and instead do something that's more like a traditional sump system. Now, if you guys have seen traditional sumps that go under aquariums, you'll know that they usually come from your overflow. They go through some sort of filter sock, and then they have a series of baffles which make the water go up and down through the sump until it gets to the point where it gets pumped back to your aquarium. I've never really understood the filter sock thing because it's the first place your water goes, and as such the filter socks get clogged up really, really fast, and I'm the first one to admit that filter socks suck. I hate cleaning filter socks. It's absolutely time consuming. They're hard to turn inside out. They're hard to scrub out. It's just a nightmare, and it's not something that I want to introduce to this system, but the same premise of these baffles is something that I very much want to replicate. So this is the idea, and this is a project I believe I will be working on in the next few weeks. It's just going to depend on how easy it is to find the materials that I need. So we've got our 55-gallon barrel here. It's around 24 inches in diameter, and we've got our 2-inch uniseal over here, and we've got a 2-inch uniseal over here to allow water in and out. And the modification that I want to make is a series of baffles like a traditional sump, but I want to do it in a circular fashion. So I want to basically put a barrel inside of a barrel inside of a barrel inside of a barrel, and alternate where my holes are in each one of those barrels to allow my water to sort of travel down and then travel up and then travel down and then travel up and then travel out. And if I can do that and slow the water down enough, hopefully all of those fine particulates start to drop out of suspension, and hopefully they stay in this barrel where I can siphon them out periodically so that they don't create too big of an issue. So how am I going to do that? Well, I really like this idea, and I like this design because of the way it distributes the water. One of the things that I love about sponge filters is the fact that the air drives up through the top and the water comes in through all of the sides, and if you've got a circular sponge, you're using all of that surface area the same way. And it's similar to how this would operate, except it's sort of in reverse. So because I start with a small line and then I start going up to a bigger line, 2-inch to 6-inch, 6-inch to 12-inch, 12-inch to 18-inch, 18-inch to 24-inch, the water flow slows down significantly at each step. The pressure drops, everything gets slower. And because of that, all of that particulate should drop out quite a bit easier. To help that out, I'm also going to put some mechanical media in here. I think what I'm going to do is start with the coarsest stuff I can find in the center, and then work my way out to finer and finer and finer media, mechanical media, in each one of these chambers in a way where the heaviest stuff will get trapped here, the smaller stuff will get trapped here, the finer stuff will get trapped here, and the very, very finest stuff will get trapped here. That way, everything gets dirty, but it gets dirty in a uniform fashion. One thing that I see a lot is, and I'm actually guilty of this in the past as well, is if you're just relying on one place to get your water clear, to mechanically separate all of the stuff in the water, it's going to gum up really fast, like your filter sock, and then it doesn't work anymore. The water's just going to bypass it and overflow it, and then it's no longer working. And if you've got like the same type of filter media all throughout, this is going to get clogged up really fast, and then this stuff and this stuff and this stuff is going to be relatively clean, and that's just how it's going to be. So my idea is, if I can make this center chamber really easy to access, maybe just put a couple like circular wedges of Matala down there, maybe even put it on a string so I can pull it out or something, make this as open as possible. I can get a siphon hose down there and clean out all of the heavy stuff as often as I want to. Then what I want to do is start to move to really coarse aquarium foam, and then go to finer foam, and then maybe end with something really fine like a filter floss, with the idea that I wouldn't have to change these out or clean these as often. So every time I change this, you know, maybe every other time I would have to clean this, and every other time I'd have to clean this, and so on, so that I'm not cleaning everything all at once, but everything is sort of getting cleaned over time. That makes sense. That's sort of what I'm thinking. If you guys have any ideas on how you think this might be able to work, I'm definitely open to them, but I do think this will make use of the round shape that I'm working with and all of the space that I have available to me, and I think it'll perform the way that I originally intended this barrel to perform. It's going to take a little bit of work. I think the most difficult thing is sourcing these parts. So I've already got the 55-gallon barrel here. I need to find something that's 6 inches in diameter. That might be a PVC pipe, that's easy. But then I got to find something 12-inch and 18-inch. And the reason being is because I want 3 inches of space here, and I want 3 inches of space here, so that I can potentially just buy a sheet of 3-inch filter foam and just wrap it around the inside. So it's just one full sheet that's wrapped around the inside. That way I can just pull the whole thing out, clean it out, wash it off, whatever I need to do, and then stick it back in. So I'm trying to make this as simple as possible and as economic as possible, and we'll have to see. I think they do make 12-inch and 18-inch drain pipes, but I don't want to buy like 10 or 20 feet of it. I want to buy just a couple feet of it, so I might be looking around Craigslist until I can find what I'm looking for. If you guys have any ideas on what kind of materials might help out in the process of building something like this, or if you have any suggestions or modifications for this idea, let me know. I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to help out tremendously, because as it stands right now, the water that's overflowing out of my aquariums is just sort of hitting this wall of filter floss, and most of it is traveling around and then down and just bypassing my mechanical filtration. Some of it's passing through the filter foam and the Matala, but not all of it, and I definitely want to make sure that I get all of it so that it cleans up my water and everyone's happy. Anyways guys, hope you enjoyed. Always room for improvement, and I'll see you guys later.